Welcome back to another episode of For the Health of It. This is part 2 of our episode with Koray Easterling. Koray, thank you for coming back on with us so we can finish this conversation we started.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. Part two. Let's go. New location.
Yes, sir.
Switch it up.
So, yeah, same. I think I changed my shirts. I don't know. I got to look in.
I hope you changed your shirt. It's been 3 days.
Well, it's been 3 days. It's been like 4 days. So, if it's the same shirt, it's definitely been washed. I can guarantee that.
Okay.
So we left off, man. We were talking about you and then you were training in Europe and whatnot. So let's jump into your college career now. You went to Tulsa. We talked about you being recruited there and whatnot. So how many years did you play at Tulsa?
4.
4. Okay. Did you play? Did you get red shirted or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Came in as a true freshman. Did you start? Talk to me. Tell me the story.
Yeah. So interesting start to my college career. So preseason was going well. I was doing well.
You good?
I was looking good. Obviously the game was different. It's faster paced, but I was doing well. Just physically, I was above most people.
Mm-hmm.
And American game, as we spoke about the other day, is more physically demanding. So I had that upside. Technically, I wasn't up there now compared to the guys that were here now. But I had the physical side, so I was still able to compete pretty well. So closing into the season, we're in the summer workouts and stuff, and we're getting word from the NCAA that I was having some issues because they were investigating me. So they're investigating, So they're investigating the whole Europe trip and how that all came about. And it seemed like I had signed some documents that I wasn't supposed to sign.
Okay.
So I had an agent, but I didn't have an agent, but I did sign a piece of paper. So technically, I did have an agent. I wasn't aware of it. Don't know if others were maybe, but I wasn't. But they ended up giving me. They're trying to suspend me indefinitely, which means because I had an agent through high school.
Right.
That meant that I'm a pro.
Right.
NCAA rules is So, but they ended up, we were fighting them for a while. We were fighting and we didn't know what was going to happen. They ended up giving me 6 games. So I got 6 games at the beginning of my freshman year. So I had to sit out. So I didn't play until that 6th game. But after that 6th game, I started. Who was it again? It was like New Mexico or it was something like that. But yeah, I did start. We got a win too. So it was cool.
So about on average, how many games do y'all have?
I should know numbers like this. Probably around like we play like twice a week.
Okay.
Probably like 20.
Okay. All right. So about almost like a quarter of the season almost.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay. So you came in your freshman year. So Americans we're offensive driven, right? And we're physical and we're offensive driven. So in your college career, how many goals did you score?
So I'm a defender, okay. So, but I scored one goal in my freshman season. Yeah.
I mean, that ain't. Now that's the part that you were thinking, man. Shoot, I'm probably at least get 6 goals by the time I finish here. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, goals wasn't important. They were cool. Like that, scoring that goal was amazing. Obviously, I was on the stat sheet and whatnot, but I get on the stat sheets for different things. Keeping the goals out of the goal is my goal. At the end of the day. So scoring for me wasn't my responsibility, and it wasn't a part of my game that was that well. Just because for me to score, it either be like off of a corner or free kick, and truthfully in the air, I wasn't that good.
Right.
I wasn't that good in the air. I could get up, but I just wasn't the best at connecting and then getting that ball in the goal. So scoring for me was. Then again, I should have made it more focused in the off season. I never really did. That's on me, But yeah, that's why the goals didn't come. So that's exactly why. But then again, I was focused on defending and keeping the ball out. Most importantly, obviously the goals would have been nice, but it would have boosted my stats, just like you said, because Americans are stat driven and offense driven. So I've noticed that players that were given, defensive player of the week awards were guys that would score.
Right.
Which doesn't make sense to me.
Right,
And if you go to Europe, it has no correlation because yeah, great, they scored, but if they conceded 2 goals, then it doesn't matter.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Or
Exactly.
what did they do on the ball or on the field today? You know what I mean? They can score 1 goal and then play crappy though. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get too many awards through college. I got a couple, player of the month or player of the week, or I did, but I didn't make any all conference or nothing like that, just because I didn't have the stats to back my. I didn't score goals.
Okay. Yeah. That's very true, man. You mentioned something earlier. You mentioned it in the last interview, and then you mentioned it today. The American game is much more physical, you say. So, is it more physical? And feel free to correct me here if I'm wrong, or is it less skilled? Or you know what I'm saying? Like, is it more physical because it's less skilled, or is it, or is it just the skill's still there, but the physicality of it is also there? And I also want to preface or go in to say, because if you look at our men's record, our men nationally or internationally do not do well in soccer compared to other sports, because it seems like we have less skill. So can you talk to me about that?
It is less skillful. I think, if I'm just going to talk on the smaller end, and then I'll talk about the international end, because those guys are very skillful, obviously.
Right.
But then I guess comparable, they are not. But like for college, for example, it's less. There's less skill. There's less soccer IQ and knowledge of the game, and less the technical side of it is not as strong.
Mm-hmm.
So the game is more direct in the U.S. So you have more. As a defender, I would play more long balls. So you'd probably have preferably fast strikers, because you'd want them to get. What I did a lot was kick the ball over, the last defender, and have my striker then run in on that. And you see less of that in Europe. And you see it happen, but it's mixed to where sometimes the striker comes in and wants the ball to his feet instead of over his head every time. You know what I mean? So. And having that play going, which makes for more running. So this means that we're running more. Everyone runs more. You have to be more physically diverse. So you have to be faster. To up if you're. It helps you if you're taller. It helps you if you're athletic. So me being athletic was just a natural plus for me. I was able to, and I would cheat myself a lot, and allow more space for people, because I knew, hey, if you go past me, I'm going to catch you, So it wasn't the best for my game, but I could do it because I was, athletically a little bit more given than others were.
Okay.
But yeah, but internationally, I'll get to that. So American players growing up here, they're having that same training. It's getting much better now. I don't know how much attention you're paying to right now, but we're having a lot of players brought up to, especially like now we have a U.S. camp that is going on right now. They're playing tomorrow against Wales. Okay. And the average age is 22 years old for the players that are in camp for this camp. And it's not, these are just friendly matches, so it's not important. So they're trying to figure out right now who are going to be like the 20 guys that they're going to take to the next World Cup. Right. So they're bringing in new guys that have never even capped, which is have even played a match for the U.S.
Right.
But they brought in a bunch of guys that are young and that are playing in Europe. So there's a bunch of rising stars right now that are either people that are raised in the U.S. and that have grown playing up overseas, or people that are just not bilingual. I'm sorry, I was thinking bilingual, but dual citizens. So they have someone in the family is U.S. a citizen, or they were born in the U.S. or something like that, and they've been playing in Europe. So right. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they're getting much better because a lot of these guys are playing overseas, and then they just have that U.S. citizenship, and they're playing for the U.S. now. But yeah, and that level as well, we're just behind because overall our players were in the past just not as technical and not as what's the word? They just didn't have the coaching that these other guys in Europe had for all of their life, So they're just behind. Okay. But athletically, it's not fair for the soccer world in the U.S. because with so many different sports,
Right.
Germany, for instance, I only had soccer, or if you didn't play soccer, you didn't really do anything else, maybe until you were older, into your teens. But every kid growing up played soccer. So here you have so many different sports, and all these athletes are they're so spread out. So
Right.
if there was only soccer here, trust me, we would have probably the best team. I don't think it'd be fair to have 6'6" guys playing striker,
Right. No, yeah, yeah. And that's I guess the World Cup before the last one. They were like, we haven't had the LeBron James or somebody of that ilk play soccer. So
Right.
I mean, if that kid, or if you get a real, diverse athlete or athletically gifted person to go out there from a young age, it's going to be over. It's going to be.
I mean, we have the best athletes.
Right.
It's obviously proven every Olympics and every,
Right.
We're up there. So yeah, again, if every kid was starting off with soccer, we would have. I mean, how big this country is, we would have the best team probably every time.
So let me ask you, a guy like Julian Green. I haven't heard from him in a while. What's going on with him?
He's playing in the second division. I know he's doing really well right now. Actually, he's been scoring a ton. So you see, I like this sport too much. Why do I know what Julian Green's doing right now? Like, it's just so random, but he's doing really well right now. He's playing. I don't know who he's playing for. Do you know? I don't know if you looked at.
No, I have no idea. That's why.
Yeah, Julian Green. I've been seeing him a lot on social media the past weeks. He's been scoring a lot. He didn't get called up for camp just because competition is super high right now. But he's doing well as of the moment. I know he was popping up into the American scenes. I mean, you know his name, obviously.
Right.
He was popping up a few years ago because, he's very talented, playing in Germany. Still is playing in Germany in the second division. But yeah, he's doing well right now. I think he's moving himself up the ranks for sure in the past months, 100%.
So a guy like Julian Green, why doesn't he come and play in the MLS?
Many reasons. Money.
Okay.
He's probably getting paid. I don't know what he's getting paid, but he's probably getting paid more in the second division than he is in the first division here. That could be a move in the future for him, just because big name guys that come to the U.S. That establish themselves overseas come here, and then they do get big money contracts. But if Julian Green starts here, he's gonna start off just like another American.
Yeah.
Still get paid six figures, but again, he deserves more than six figures, and he's getting seven figures in Germany most likely.
Right.
And then so if and obviously level of competition. I don't know. I don't know if Julian Green grew up in the U.S. I think he's a military.
I think he's military.
As well.
And I think don't quote me on it, but I think he grew up in Germany. I don't know.
I think so too.
Because I know the knock on Josie Altidore was, he was playing overseas professionally, and then he left overseas to come over here, and like a lot of the comments I seen were crushing him, and they're like, man, why would he choose to play for the MLS, this, and this? I'm like, man, but don't we want homegrown stars playing in our home league? But I guess it doesn't help us when it comes to the international scene, like the World Cup.
Right. I mean, just because the league isn't as as balanced, and it's not as good. It's getting better though. It's getting a lot better. It's growing tremendously. And I know some players that are playing in leagues. I'm not going to bash them, and they know this themselves. But if I ask any of them, would you rather go play in Spain or in Germany? They're going to say, of course. So it's just soccer is new in this country,
right?
So relatively compared to overseas, so the market is growing rapidly. I think there's a bunch of information out there showing that most people are putting their kids now into soccer instead of football, obviously because of injury reasons or whatnot. But that's going to change the culture of the sport, in the country, and that's going to make it more of not as a now it's like a kind of, or it always has been in the past, grass areas, or it's a soft sport, because I guess we're not trying to kill each other necessarily.
Right.
I guess you have to hit face to face to have to be a man in this country. I guess to play a manly sport.
Right.
If you're not 6'10", but yeah, it's growing, and I think the stigma is going to change here in the country, and that's going to make only the league grow, and the money involved grow, and the league is it's crazy right now. If you wouldn't believe it, it's like the league owns all the teams.
Right, for
So the
MLS.
MLS,
Yeah.
it's like it's a mafia to me. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of weird because I have researched it before and I looked into that and I was like, so the league owns all the teams. It's kind of like the XFL, but
Right.
yeah, it was kind of hard to understand because I don't know. It's just yeah. It's weird.
But it's all American sports,
Right.
and it's just like the NFL. The players are the draft, for example. The draft is only a thing. It's to keep wages controlled. You know what I mean? And so I think all American sports, all owners are in this pact to make more money. They want to save. They don't want to pay as much out, and they want to
Right.
keep as much as possible. So that's what the MLS is doing at the same time. They're controlling that these teams can't choose to go with Nike or Puma or whoever. They're Adidas teams because MLS has an Adidas contract. So now they're all wearing Adidas. And then the players are again stuck to contracts that are I bet way less than what they make because those stadiums are full. They're not empty.
Of course.
They're big stadiums. They're $60,000 stadiums in Atlanta or 70,000. They're filled to the brim. So obviously it's popular enough to make it. They're making money.
Right.
So again, yeah. So I think that's just the American system of trying to keep the owners getting more money and the players none. And in Europe you don't have that. So again, I think another reason why people go to Europe because contracts are. I can tell you, hey, yeah, I want this because if I don't get this, I'm gonna go over here.
So talk to me about the European leagues, man. We know there's the Premier League. I just drew a blank. What's the Spaniard league?
La Liga.
La Liga, and then the German league is what?
Bundesliga.
Yeah, and then the Italian league. What is that?
Serie A.
So, which league is the top?
Okay, it's in between England and Spain. Okay. For me, this is all personal preference. I think England is the #1 league, and I'll tell you why. And I hope we have some viewers that are going to be, knowledgeable as well, so they can maybe comment. But England. So I'm basing this off of competition in the league, obviously. So first of all, you have like the top teams in England that are competing in all of Europe. So the Champions League, for example, biggest tournament that they can compete in, and English teams are always in that battle. Even if they're not always winning, because the Spanish teams seem to be winning a lot, Madrid and Barcelona. They're always in that top 4 or top 8 category, So they're competing, obviously. And then when during competition, you have teams that are like mid-table or even low-table beating high teams like Manchester United, Manchester City, or Arsenal gets beat by West Ham, but West Ham decent teams, but everyone can beat everyone from week to week. You know what I mean? So not like the Bundesliga where you have Bayern and Dortmund, and Bayern has won the league like the past 10 years. You know what I mean? Like it's a great league, and all those teams are really good, and all those players and all those teams are really good, but there's a huge gap, obviously. You have like 3 teams, you have like Dortmund and Leipzig, and then the rest are just like let them play down there, and then we're playing up here every year, So, and the same with other leagues, same with Spain. It's like Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, and Real Madrid, and then the rest are kind of just playing where can we land, And I think they know that going into every year. But right now, if you look at the Premier, right now all the leagues are honestly all screwed up. I think Corona, maybe, obviously, I don't know. All leagues are just totally
wacky
weird right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, man. We're gonna mention some stuff off camera before we get off, but man, I wanna cover up what's going on with what's next for you. What is next for Koray Easterling?
Okay.
You just had a surgery and whatnot, so tell me how's surgery going? How's the rehab going? You mentioned you had like 3 surgeries in a span of 2 years or 2 months, and then also tell me what's next for you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll start with where things were going first. I'll just do that real quick. So in my senior year, I was getting like through college, I was getting decent amount of attention. I was not getting it straight to face, but through coaching, through not even just my Tulsa coaches, through different coaches that I've made relationships. They've said, that they're hearing my name. So my name was in the mouths of people that professional coaches, not necessarily only MLS, but the second league in the USL as well. So, but opportunity was there at some point. So I was playing well, and I was playing always. I was playing, many minutes, and I was playing every game through college. And I would play in the semi-pro leagues in the summers, and I always played well. So I was, I think, established player during college, and I wasn't I wasn't the star, I wasn't one of the high guys, but I was someone that was going to get a chance. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, which was more than fine with me. I've been used to that, and I'm usually someone that makes good use of my chance because I work hard and I go in there and I show what I can do. But at the end of junior and senior year, it was looking good. I felt like I was going to get a chance. But then so 2019 February, it was my junior year spring, I believe, and let me tell you, so I've never had any injuries going through high school or growing up. I had minor, things that I would have, nothing major ever though. Like no muscle strains, never pulled a hand, never like had anything happen.
Right.
I broke my arm once playing like when I was like 10, but it was like an arm. I felt like it was nothing, with my legs. It didn't affect my soccer. But then February of 2019, I tore my lateral meniscus on my right knee. It was in practice. It was, I got cut up, and then this, everybody, so it was in a drill, and the guy had done a little juke, and I planted right, and then he feinted, left since he's across from me. But as I planted, I popped, my meniscus popped. Everyone thought he cut me up, because I fell. But I fell because it popped, and I didn't want to plant anymore, so I let it go, and I just fell. And everyone was obviously, going crazy. Ah! And I was like, no, something happened here, like I went down. So then went to, hospital, did whatever, tore my lateral meniscus, was out for a couple of months. Usually they just cleaned it up. So they just scope two little holes.
Yeah, they just peel it back.
Just cut some of it out. Couldn't repair that part of it. Then I came back, played summer ball, came back from summer ball, played half of my senior season, and then like little well, on paper I played more games than I could have to still like do a medical. So I played too many games. I think like 2 over. Toured against SMU, which was a great team. I think they got into like the quarterfinals or something like that year. We got a whooping too. It was like 5-1. We got smacked. But I toured. Didn't know I toured. I played the whole game. What a beast! I'm joking. But no, I'm kidding. But yeah, I toured that game again. Toured the left one actually. So the first one was my right. This was then October of 19. Then
right.
A year ago. A little bit over a year ago, and I tore my left one this time around. I was still having complications with my right one, so because when I tore it, I didn't take enough time to rehab that. Which kids, please take your time and rehab. Listen to your body. It's very important. I didn't do that. I wanted to play, and I had coaches or staff that was telling me that I should be able to good to go, but I wasn't. I should have let my, listen to your body. That's one thing I would say, listen to your body. Your body knows better. Didn't take, appropriate steps, and I came back faster than I should. So I was still having issues with my right one, so that ended up deciding to go in and doing both knees. So I had knee surgery scopes done on both. Then I had my rehab again, and so now what was coming up was the MLS draft, which was January of this year.
Right.
somehow was still selected for the draft, which tells me that so in the draft in the MLS, you don't get to enter yourself; you get selected.
Right.
So they select
kind of like baseball.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I think that's how baseball goes because I don't think a lot of these high schoolers are putting their names in the MLB draft.
Oh wow, yeah, that's crazy. By the way, that they do in high school. I don't understand the system. But yeah, so again, I was entered for the draft, which was a surprise given that I didn't play in my senior season. I just told me that they were watching. Didn't make the MLS combine, but I did get I still got invited to the Toronto FC combine, which is a Toronto FC MLS team in Canada. I mean, I had about 3 months of rehab then from my October surgery. It was October was the surgery. Draft was like January 5th, and combine in Toronto was like January 2nd or something like that. So I flew out. I went. I had like 2 months, 3 months of rehab, and I think I trained like 2 weeks before that combine with a buddy of mine from Texas and his brother who plays professionally. And then I went out there, played three days. My knees were swollen like a bubble just because I wasn't ready. Did it just because I looked, it's my chance to do it, and I'm not gonna say no, So it was one in a lifetime thing. So I did it, grinded through it. I think the coaches, I mean, they definitely knew that I was struggling. I would do rehab and all that stuff there. Did it. I had to do it. I couldn't say no. My dad said not to go, but I wasn't going to say no to that. When is that ever going to happen again? And if it would have ruined my career, then it's fine. But did that, didn't get drafted. Then I had some calls from the second league to come train with some teams to show my face. And I had probably 2 or 3 teams that wanted to sign me. Couldn't go because the knee was just done. I wasn't going to risk it. Then I was getting ready for surgery number 3. COVID had just kind of postponed that because we were waiting for a donor because I was going to get what I got now is a meniscus transplant. So COVID kind of set everything back because they weren't doing any surgeries on non-emergency. Right. So now I got that done now. So I thought that my career was done. So I have a box right here still from moving because I moved into my own apartment and all my soccer stuff's in there, and I put it up and I haven't looked at it. So I've called it off honestly, and just wrote that off and just planning on starting a new chapter. Just because I just didn't believe that the knee would do it again. But actually 2 weeks ago, I was at my doctor's office, my surgeon, and I asked him, I said, you think I can play? And he goes, yeah. I was like, what do you mean, like play, like not just play? I don't want to play, like yeah, on the weekends, but like I want to, like, can I play? And he was like, yeah, you should be able to play like elite level. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, all right. So now looks like I'll be back. I'm starting rehab tomorrow actually, so I'm excited. So I don't know. I'm going to treat the rehab, and I said this to myself since before the surgery that I was going to treat this rehab just like I was going to come back to play on a team like I was signed somewhere. Right. But now I'm going to do it 1,000 times harder. So I'm going to be rehabbing like I'm playing somewhere, and we'll see from there. So I'll be trying that.
Okay. Oh no, man, definitely. We're gonna be pulling for you, all Biloxi and me personally.
Appreciate it.
We're gonna be pulling for you, man. We gotta see you out there. That'd be dope.
Appreciate
never knew anybody that made it this far personally for soccer. Not me. There might be somebody out there, but off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody. But man, congratulations on a successful college career and a successful prep career also, man.
Thank you.
You go ahead and shout out your social medias again.
Yeah, but real quick, remember that bet we made in high school?
Oh, what was it? Because I do remember a bet. What was it?
So I don't know. Well, maybe my sophomore year. I don't think it was my freshman year because I was too quiet. No, it was junior year because I don't think I ran track until junior year. I don't know if we known each other before track. We knew each other, but we weren't close or nothing like that. I didn't see you every day. We weren't talking mess to each other. But maybe it was like sophomore, but it wasn't my freshman year. I was too quiet my freshman year. Either my sophomore or my junior year. I think I told you, I said I'm going to go play D1.
Right. Okay.
And that was
All right. Yeah,
remember
I can remember this bet.
that?
And now how much did I lose?
$100.
All right, bet. Send me the
No,
cash.
but I didn't take it. I didn't take it.
Oh,
Remember at the track. What is it called when we got together at the end of the season?
the bank.
At the track banquet, you had it ready. You had the money ready,
Okay.
and
Oh yeah. At the was that? Oh yeah, I do remember that. I remember that.
you remember that? Yeah, because you were at the sign-in. Remember
Yeah. We actually signed. Yeah, I remember. I think that was your
yeah.
senior year, huh?
Yeah, it was my senior. The senior year when I signed at that point. You know, I did my
Right.
signing day and whatnot. So
Okay.
yeah, that was funny though. But that really stuck with me, and you know, just making that bet with you was such a big deal for me. You know, at that time, like I don't know, it was nothing to you, obviously. You know,
Right.
but it was so big to me. You know, because I knew I was gonna do it, but proving it to you and to people was just, you know, it was just amazing that I could do it. You know what I mean? Because I knew I was going to do it, but it was just so much joy in doing it. You know what I mean? Like just showing everyone, and I know how big of a deal it was for Biloxi, because soccer players just don't come through that place and that stage too much. You know, so it was amazing. You know, so it was fun. I loved being there and playing for that school. So
Man, that's what's up, man. Foot, mouth, you did it. Again, man, congratulations on that, man. And I definitely remember that. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna probably edit that out, or not edit it out, but make that part of the promo, because I definitely remember that now.
Yeah.
I really do. I do. It's
I was going to mention it at the beginning, but
Yeah.
I forgot.
No, it's all good. It is all good, man. But shout out your social media before we get out of here.
Yeah. Instagram is Koray East, so that's KORAYEAST. Twitter is Koray Easterling. But yeah, follow me. I post kind of cool stuff. I mean, I'm not that cool though. Every now and then you'll see something on there. But yeah, follow me and check out the podcast. I love what you're doing.
Man, I appreciate that, Koray. Hey, this has been another episode of For the Health of It. I'm your host, Koray and K. Paget, and thank you for tuning in.